What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the decidedly debonair Dr. Disaster, and there have been a lot of problems with the release of Tales of the Shire. They wanted so much to make a Lord of the Rings game for the modern audience, but they have just been utterly rejected.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
Everything we've heard and seen about this game has been disastrous, from the fabulous Gandalf to the diverse citizens of the Shire, despite the hobbits being a notoriously sheltered and closed-off people, to the utterly backwards-looking graphics in the game that appear as though they belonged on a PS2 console, to the news that Sweet Baby Inc. helped write this turd. Everything about Tales of the Shire has made people look at it and think,
Go back to the shadow.
just about the only hope that this game had of getting some traction was that the game journalists would praise it for its diversity and simply because it is a Lord of the Rings game. Because of course, professional critics love to shill for big name intellectual properties like that. But as you can see from this Metacritic score, that has not happened at all. Even the game journalists could not bring themselves to lie. When they saw this turd firsthand, they had to say,
"You look like a bucket of shit!"
At the time of this recording, the Metacritic score is sitting at a wretched 57 out of 100, and what these reviewers have to say about the game is just plain miserable. Now, the game hasn't even cracked the top 60 most wishlisted titles on Steam. They never even made it available for pre-order. For reasons unknown, it is hard to imagine a game featuring a franchise like The Lord of the Rings having another massively piss-poor launch like this. A few years ago, we saw the Gollum game swoop in and shit the bed, and now we have this nonsense. They likely thought that the Lord of the Rings franchise was a goldmine, but these idiots who want to mine the IP for all it's worth are realizing something about their efforts.
This is no mine. It's a tomb.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and also, don't forget to follow me over on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. I keep a list on there of games lousy with wokeness pinned to the account at all times for your reference. I've also started uploading some content onto Rumble too, so make sure that you follow Dr. Disaster over there. But in any event, let's take a gander at these reviews for Tales of the Shire. You know things are pretty bad for a game when it is worked on by Sweet Baby and it's clearly on the side of the progressive activist crowd, and yet, as you can see here, even IGN could not bring themselves to give this game anything higher than a 40 out of 100. I mean, these guys are notorious for giving everything a 7 out of 10, to the point that most of their reviews are basically meaningless. Hell, they even gave Dragon Age the Veilguard a freaking 9 out of 10 score, because they will go out of their way at IGN to find good things to say about even obviously subpar games as long as they conform to their progressive ideological worldview. But they couldn't find it within themselves to shill for Tales of the Shire, which says a lot. They gave the game a 40 out of 100, and they wrote here, Tales of the Shire is the Grima Wormtongue of games. It whispered many wonderful promises into my ear, but by the end, I was left a wretched shadow of my former self. I had a lot of hope that this could be the perfect mix of a genre I love and the Tolkien world I've spent much of my life nerding out about, but those hopes were cast into the fires from whence they came. With life sim mechanics that are shallow as they come, terrible technical performance, and almost nothing original to say, Tales of the Shire disappoints every step of the way. There's hints of a better game to be found in its slightly more robust cooking mechanics, as well as the occasionally amusing writing and dialogue that proves this setting was indeed ripe for a life sim if executed better, but like a Silmaril, those dreams have vanished deep in the depths. And this idea that the game has terrible technical performance appears to be a bit of a recurring theme. According to Nintendo Life here and their review on Metacritic, the game deserves another 40 out of 100 rating, and they wrote here, cozy gaming plus hobbits seems like a match made in Valinor, and Tales of the Shire tries hard to meet that lofty goal, but in its current state, at least on Switch, this game is unfortunately almost as much of a slog as schlepping evil jewelry to a distant volcano. And then, if we click on that link to read more of this review that Nintendo Life gave, it says here, the dominating feature of this game isn't the hill-based architecture, or the tea parties with passive-aggressive hobbit friends, or the seed distance calculations, it's the bugs. A typical day in Bywater looks like this. My hobbit wakes up, and the game immediately chugs like Pippin downing a full pint. She skips into town and discovers 10 hobbits amassed outside the pub because they've all got stuck on one another. She goes into a shop, and the screen turns gray, except for the bottom left corner, so she has to navigate out using just that small sliver of visuals. She decides to take a walk in the forest, so she heads out, passing a hobbit with no textures, having a conversation with no one, and then the screen goes red with black spots for a few minutes until it stops doing that for no reason. She gives up on the forest and goes fishing instead, only the fishing UI isn't visible, and the controller is aggressively vibrating like a jar filled with angry wasps and rice. Finally, she decides to go home, but since it's been exactly 30 minutes since her day started, the game crashes. Since I started playing, several of those have been patched. I had a total of 20 hard crashes in 10 hours before they patched out that last bug, but I'm still getting crashes, the textures still aren't loading, and the game still chugs horrendously. So yeah, you get the picture. Apparently these developers at Weta Workshop didn't know what the hell they were doing. Maybe if they spent less time tweeting about social justice shit, as I discovered several months ago, and more time working on correcting this sort of nonsense, we wouldn't have this problem. But anyhow, even the positive reviews, of which there are few, aren't exactly glowing for this game. The outlet Comic Book has given the game its highest score at the time of this recording with an 80 out of 100, but even they didn't sound very enthusiastic about the experience they had with the game. They wrote here, if you can get past a few little quirks in how the game runs, Tales of the Shire is going to be well worth your time. It is truly a cozy and wholesome escape to the Shire, full of the daily tasks a hobbit loves best: cooking, eating, and enjoying time with friends. They acknowledge in this review that the game doesn't run well, so I would guess that this game is just utterly screwed. Even its few positive scores are basically suggesting the obvious truth, that you should not buy this game. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of Tales of the Shire into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.